the gatekeeper of the Tower of Shadows. His Majesty welcomes all who would enter into his domain. Do you wish to enter the shadows?
What do you mean?
I am the gatekeeper of the Tower of Shadows. His Majesty welcomes all who would enter into his domain. Do you wish to enter the shadows?
Okay, I'm just gonna pause briefly here. Welcome to the final level of Stonekeep, Khull-Khuum's tower. The buttons here allow you to answer the gatekeeper's question with either yes or no. Whichever answer you give doesn't really matter that much, but if you give the right answers, you get a hint for the final battle with Khull-Khuum. Pressing the green triangle is yes, pressing the red square is no. Do we really wish to enter the shadows? I don't think we do.
You have left your foolishness behind. Have you need to enter?
Briefly pausing again. So we're on to the gatekeeper's little game. Do we have need to enter the shadows? Well, we definitely do, because if we don't, we're never going to be able to stop Khull-Khuum.
The time has come. The prophecy will be fulfilled, and your fate written. As Keeper of Shadows, it is my fate to tell you that the silver light can keep the shadows at bay. Forgive me, Master.
And so the gatekeeper has served his purpose. If you do not have all the orbs in your inventory by the time you reach this point, the gatekeeper will not allow you to pass. Ow! Okay, that door is trapped. We're not going to be able to pass through there just now. Let's have a look at the opposite number.
Magic bars your way. Magic is the key to the solution. Bah, the solution is simple. Can you not see it?
Well, this seems like an empty room at first, but in the wall to the side, there is something of interest. A panel with 16 different switches with strange symbols. Well, no sense in pressing symbols at random right now. Let's just keep going until we find a clue. The door straight ahead is more or less Khull-Khuum's front door. It leads into a stairway that leads right up to his chambers. Not a good idea to go in there right now. And from around the corner comes a new enemy type. Wow, it's spiked cylinders which slash at you and explode if you smash them. Because of my armor and shield spells, they can't really do anything against me. And they're definitely not one of the more creative enemies in this game. It's kind of unfortunate that this final level of the game doesn't throw any interesting enemies your way. The floating spike cylinders and fire elementals. Let's use that mysterious rune I found in the Gate of the Ancients on them. This is the Vampire rune. As you may notice, it steals hit points from your enemies and adds them to your own. Kinda sucks to get that spell in a point of the game when there's only one enemy left that it actually works on. And it's not even a humanoid enemy. On the ground here, we find another one of those stat-raising potions, so let's chug that down right now and add some more health to Drake's max hit points. Obviously, this level is a palette swap of the Palace of Shadows, turned a hideously purple color. What was that?
You have slain one of my brethren, Dark One. For that you will pay. Why have you done this? Speak, or your supposed quest for vengeance ends here.
He was acting strangely. Look around first, before you accuse me.
I will not have infighting in my party. Let's examine this.
This lever connects to a trap mechanism to the south. How could you know this?
My eyes see far more than you will ever know, dwarf.
What is that supposed to mean?
Leave him be, Farley. Let us stop bickering and get on with this.
Elves and dwarves just never get along. If Enigma had not been in my party, this dwarf would have been able to set off that trap, and my party would have been struck by a flame trap. But that's stuff you'll see in a bonus video. He drops the most common dwarf items, but also this thing, which the journal actually doesn't have a description for. but it definitely looks like a crowbar. Anything of interest here? It's a sign.
It's covered with dust.
This is the dust of the entity. It is a lingering gift of the shadows. It causes illness upon contact with the skin. You should not touch it.
There's more than one of these signs in this level, and you should definitely heed Enigma's advice. Instead of trying to wipe the dust off, use a potion or a bucket of water if you have it, in order to get rid of the dust. I'll use this useless frog potion.
I can't read it.
I cannot read it.
Balance. Oh, balance. Who wants balance? Hey, I do.
Just read it.
And thus was balance restored in the end.
Well, that's a very uplifting message at least. Looks like this loops around to nowhere. Dead end? Let's step into it.
There is something odd about one of these walls. There are hidden mechanisms of dwarven construct from the look of them. I could use this piece of metal to make it function.
Oh, so Farley uses the crowbar to open the wall, and beyond the door is a stairway leading down. In we go. No! Not this background again. Yes, it's the lair of the dark dwarves. Pretty ominous. Not much of a surprise what we're going to be finding here, I guess. Carefully and quietly explore this place. Bones on the ground, that's not good news. There's a dwarf standing with his back towards us. I don't really want to hurt this guy. Let's try to slip past him quietly. Oh no. So these are dark dwarves, but since they can't help it, let's look for a peaceful solution to this. This ugly altar over here looks fragile, and smashing it breaks the spell. Let's see if they're grateful.
Thank you, great master. I have been in the thrall of magic for a long time.
What did he say?
The evil one gave us food to kill. I made many traps. Don't touch the door!
Did he say there's a trap on the door?
Yes. They're button in wall across passage behind door. Push them. This the pattern.
Well, let's have a look at that.
Interesting.
Yeah, right.
There are more, but I forgot.
Thank you. Do you need help getting out of here?
I afraid evil one come to kill me. I hide from him now.
No. Come with us. We will protect you from his power.
No.
Well, even though the spell is lifted, it looks like these poor dwarves are left permanently retarded. And in the pile of hay here you find another very sharp dagger. It's kind of hard to tell, but the trap door that this dwarf was talking about was actually the door I tried to open in the very first area of this level, which had some kind of spell on it. And the weird scroll with the X's and O's is actually the way to solve that panel with the 16 buttons I found in the wall. I really have no idea how you're supposed to figure this out on your own, but oh well. And here's the passage that dwarf fled into, which loops around and leads to a dead end with a hole in the ceiling. The scroll on the ground here is the exact same scroll I got from the dwarf, with the solution for the puzzle. I have no idea why they put a hole in the ceiling here and then don't do anything with it, and actually have the voice actor record a specific comment for it. I kinda suspect that the trap in the level above, where Enigma shot a dwarf from a distance, was originally supposed to be a pitfall instead of a flame trap, and it would have dumped you here in the lair of the dark dwarves. I can't think of any other reason why that hole would be here. Another Black Slayer arrow, which brings my total to 3. Not much, but like I said, they're one of the best weapons in the game. Any more bones and skulls here? Nothing else in this dirt.
Well, what?
Yeah, love a good routine. This well is here so you can fill up your bucket and clean the sign above that had the dust on it. Pressing the switch opens a wall behind me, which hides another Black Slayer arrow, and a mana circle, which is quite useful in this level. While we're here, might as well recharge all the protective spells and do a little bit of healing maybe. You definitely want to keep your shield and armor spells topped off in these levels, because even though my first encounter with the fire elementals didn't show it, they are really, really dangerous. If your spells fail, then those fire elementals will make quick work of you. Well, that's pretty much all of this area explored. Let's go back to the main corridor. Khull-Khuum's tower actually consists of 5 different floors, though none of them are really elaborate. I think possibly the Palace of Shadows was originally going to be the final level, but they added on a little bit more. And here we get another batch of floating spikers. Not much danger. If you don't have a shield spell on, that explosion in your face can be pretty nasty, but right now they're not much of a threat. A lot of nasty long corridors in here. And does this room have anything interesting? Well, there's a spiker coming out of the wall here, which means there's a illusionary wall, which hides another stat-raising potion for Drake. There we go. Another point of agility to add to the bunch. That's pretty nice. This corridor looks pretty suspicious. Why not use Afri's orb once again to see if there's anything of interest here? Well, there's 2 dots in the little alcoves here, but there's also an illusionary wall to the side. Let's use that first. And a panel on the wall. Now, believe it or not, this is supposed to be the Power 2 meta rune. If you wash this thing away with a potion or a bucket of water and you don't already have the Power 2 meta rune inscribed in your journal, apparently you get it now. I don't really understand why they'd put something so obscure in here, especially considering the likelihood that you would already have that meta rune by now. However, washing it away also does something else. It depowers the 2 skull heads which are waiting for you here. Not that they're that tough to begin with, but maybe if your stats are a bit lower, they would pose a bit more of a threat. Let's explore the end of this corridor. It's gonna be another dead end, with a couple of manifesting fire elementals. As you can see, fire elementals can shoot firebolts at you, which is why it's so important to have a good shield spell on you. Oh, did you see that? Something flashing in the wall, a cross shape. This is definitely a spot you want to remember. There's nothing else of interest in here, but I'm gonna drop a teleportation circle here so I'll be able to return later. Let's just try to remember that in case we find another thing shaped like a cross. Okay, well, not much to do now, but backtrack a bit. We had a little bit more to explore, a little further way back. While it's definitely not a pushover, I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed with the final level of Stonekeep. I know some other RPGs which actually make use of the final level to make a really big, challenging map, with lots of new enemies that pose a really big threat against you. And Stonekeep doesn't really do that. It just kind of throws some last ideas at you and then it's the end. Oh well, no sense in complaining. Let's keep going.
There is writing here, but a dark powder covers the words, making it impossible to read.
This is the dust of Zandili. It is a lingering gift of the shadows. It causes illness upon contact with the skin. You should not touch.
So again, let's use a useless frog potion and clean it up.
Can't read it.
It is beyond my talents.
Darkness and light. How mundane, how boring, how depressing.
Just tell me what it says.
Oh, all right. In the beginning, there was darkness and light. And me.
Yeah. The closer you get to the ending, the more Wahuka starts making ominous comments like this. Definitely gives you the feeling that there's a lot more to him than meets the eye. Another strangely placed illusionary wall, which leads to yet another door. Corridor, which initially seems to be empty. Then there's something behind you. Another spiker that passed through an illusionary wall. Ooh, got hit by a little bit of the explosion there. But there's actually nothing in this little retreat. That's kind of lame. And there's the sound of yet more fire elementals. I think this level really could have benefited from some humanoid enemies, like the skeletons from the Palace of Shadows. Anything else of interest here? Yet another dead end. Nothing to do but turn around, track back. And believe it or not, there's yet another illusionary wall here. Aside from the one at the end, there's one to the right here. And this leads into an interesting place. Here we have a spear fence and a switch to bring it down or up again. Because at the end here we have a really big floating spiker. This is a unique one. This one cannot be killed. Yeah, that's great. Not only that, but if you're unlucky, it will land a blow that instantly kills one of your party members, and if you're really unlucky, it's Drake. So that means an instant game over. That makes this one of the toughest enemies in the entire game. You don't stand a chance of actually killing it. The only way you can defeat it is trapping it behind a spear fence, but unfortunately that is really difficult. You have to kind of time it perfectly. Gonna give it another go. And as you may have noticed, the spiker tried to hit me a few times, but it didn't actually kill any of my party members. It seems to sort of fail sometimes. And again, the spear fence didn't go up fast enough. I can't quite tell if it's my protective spells saving my guys, or if it's just bad programming. Another illusionary wall, which the spikers don't actually follow me through, and an interesting item on the floor.
It's covered with dust.
The silver items are ancient relics of great importance. Khull-Khuum used them to capture the gods into the orbs during the devastation. Isn't that interesting?
Well, that definitely is very interesting. And a lot of people have been mentioning silver things to me, like the gatekeeper mentioned that the silver light could keep the shadows at bay. He might have been talking about this silver ankh. Ooh, let's get this thing out of my way. I said out of my way. And run for it. All we really came here for is that silver ankh. Well, we've exhausted everything we can do on this floor right now. But we did get the solution for the trap door from the dwarves, of course. So let's head back into the main corridor. That was the dead end. And see if we can solve this puzzle. Like I said, the scroll with the X's and O's provides a solution for the panel hidden in the wall there. It's pretty hard to figure out on your own, I think. I had to use the strategy guide for it. But let's have a look at the solution here.
Interesting.
Now, if you try to carefully follow each row of O's and X's, you might start noticing that they're sort of arranged 4 in a row. So, if you press the buttons that correspond with an O, and don't press the ones that correspond with an X, that's how you solve this thing. It's kind of a crappy sort of puzzle, I think. Basically, the symbols inscribed on the buttons are completely meaningless. So what was trapping this door? Just a lonely skull head dropping from the ceiling. And one arrow of enigmas makes quick work of it. Never mind, let's step on to the next floor. There we go. Second level of Khull-Khuum's tower. There's 4 floors in total, and of course the lair of the dark dwarves making the 5th one. Oop. Lonely fire elemental. That sound of an energy bolt was not a skullhead, as you might expect, but there is a trap on this level which sporadically shoots out bolts of energy from a wall. It's kind of annoying and distracting, so I'll try not to spend too much time on this floor. So many of these stupid fire elementals. At least the sword is good for dealing cutting damage against them. Another interesting mechanic here, when you step into this tile here, it teleports you into a different area of the map. And there's a scroll on the ground to indicate that you switch to a different place. Yeah, more fairy humor, I guess. Either that, or it's a joke left in by the Stonekeep team. I can imagine that they left the scroll there just for playtesting purposes, and then just left it in when it turned out to be a good indicator that the player has teleported. And there's the energy bolt trap. In the far wall. Let's wait for it to shoot out another bolt. And rush into this alcove here, where we find another silver symbol, a silver crescent this time. Something is unfolding here. Alright, let's continue on. Yet another fire elemental coming out of the wall. Big surprise there.
It's magically barred. I thought you would be able to tell that by now.
I can feel the energies holding it shut.
Well, there's no elegant magical solution to open this door. Quite simply, you have to cast a power 3 spoil spell rune on it to break the spell. There we go. So let's see why this door was magically locked. Some bones on the ground once again. Not a good sign. Doesn't look like anyone was left alive in here. A scroll?
He tried to force my wife to serve him by gathering the orbs, but she refused. Now Rhea is dead. My time is short, and I only regret I was not able to capture him myself.
So here's a little bit of text connecting the game to the companion novel Fair Awakening again. If you hadn't read that, or hadn't read my summary of it, Rhea is the name of the mother of the main character of the novel, Wraith. So this scroll was written by Wraith's father. And the book describes that Wraith's parents left him behind and then disappeared. So clearly at some point they were taken prisoner by Khull-Khuum and left to die here. So these are Drake's direct ancestors. Story-wise, it's an interesting note that Khull-Khuum apparently tried to make Rhea find the orbs for him. There's this kind of underlying notion that Khull-Khuum himself can't actually take possession of the orbs, but he needs worshippers of Farah to actually bring them to him. I'll be glad to be rid of that sound, definitely. And there are, of course, more fire elementals lying in wait. There comes one now. Ooh, and my protective shield spell apparently wore off. The nasty thing about these fire elementals is that their damage is not one instant value. They burn off a whole bunch of your health, which can catch you by surprise and quickly whittle you down to 0. So let's quickly renew those spells. There we go. You could definitely use some healing, but we'll get a chance for that later. Phew. Alright. Let's do some healing now. Just making sure to keep Drake alive for the ride. Nothing else much of interest in here. Let's proceed. Hey! Another thing flashing in the wall, an Ankh, and this time I actually have the symbol in my inventory. If you have the symbol that you see on the wall, you can step through it and end up in a different place. Still on the 2nd floor, but in a previously unreachable area. Getting pretty tired of these walking flames. I really suspect that the Stonekeep team at this point was just using leftover material for enemies. So what do you got for me, huh?
Well, I have this graphic of fire I'm not doing anything with. And I made this sweet-ass model of a cylinder with spikes on it. Look!
Brilliant! That's kind of how I suspect they talk. Anyway, stepping through this door into this little room is again a teleport into a different area. And once again a teleporting wall, this time with a crescent. Again a symbol I already have in my possession. But I'm not going to step through here just yet. So I'll make a mark of it and remember to come back here later. Because there's a little bit more to explore in this area of the map. In this room, we find a silver cross. And this is a symbol that we found flaring up on a wall earlier. Remember how I dropped a teleportation rune there? Well, let's go check it out. Here we go. And this leaves us, well, back on the 2nd level again. In an isolated room, with another one of those bright green orbs embedded into the wall. And this is once again an orb that lets you recharge your rune staffs. I think it has an infinite amount of charges, so this is a good opportunity to heal my entire party and renew my protective spells. Fresh armor, fresh shield. Alright, we should be good for a while. Now let's use the teleportation circle and rune to return from where we teleported originally. There we go. Let's see if there's anything else of interest in here. A door that leads into a 1 square chamber with absolutely nothing in it. Super. Just Stonekeep keeping me on my toes, I guess. Well, like I said earlier, I have the Silver Crescent. So let's return to that wall that had the Silver Crescent flaring up on it. And go see what's on the other side. This lands us in the third level of Khull-Khuum's tower. I already visited this briefly when I found the cell of Rafe's parents. Lots and lots and lots of fire elementals on this one. I'm pretty glad I renewed my protective spells just now. There's a few interconnecting corridors in here, but smartest move is probably to stay on the outside. There's nothing but fire elementals in here. 3 of them, jeez. That's not nearly the end of it. And there's a silver circle on the ground to the side there, with a fire elemental trying to ambush you. It's actually a silver Ouroboros, looks like. Well, we now have 4 silver symbols, which seems significant somehow. Let's continue trying to take the outer way. I'm ignoring a lot of side corridors here because really all I would be able to find is more fire elementals to kill. And there's already too many of those. Would you guys give it a rest already? Can't you tell I'm fireproof? And here we have a wall that has all 4 symbols into it, which means we found a teleport that is going to lead us into the 4th level of Khull-Khuum's tower, the final level. Before we do that though, I'm going to roll back just a little bit, make sure I haven't missed anything important. Well, here we have a switch, which opens a completely pointless square in here. Thanks a lot for that, Stonekeep team. Wouldn't want to have missed that. There really is nothing else of interest. Alright, let's head over to that 4-symbol teleport and go visit Khull-Khuum. Here we are, 4th level, the final floor of Khull-Khuum's tower, where we're gonna meet the man himself. This is a sort of small but symmetrically designed area. Several illusionary walls to pass through, some of which you can only pass through one way. I'm gonna have to carefully scout this place out before I proceed. What's this?
This room must be part of the ritual to capture the gods. This is where Khull-Khuum caused the death of my race.
You don't say. Well, there's 4 silver circular indentations on the ground here. It doesn't matter which of the 4 symbols you place on them, as long as you place one, which causes a pillar with an orb shape on it to pop out of the ground. Well, the course of action should be clear. Put one on each of these. Though I have to say, the first time you play the game, it's very unlikely that this encounter is going to go this way. Oh well. I'll still have a bonus video to show off all the different possible confrontations in this final level. If I go north here a bit, there is another door here, which leads to a stairway down, and that's a straight stairway that leads all the way back to the 1st level of Khull-Khuum's tower. But had I taken this stairway up, I would not have all these silver symbols. Plus, Wahuka would have left my party before I got to the top, because this would have been an extremely rash and stupid way to rush into Khull-Khuum's arms. Alright, I'm pretty much ready. I'm gonna hold off on that final symbol for an important reason, which will become clear in a moment.
Welcome. You have come to my tower. You can fulfill the prophecy and hand the orbs over to me. Quickly now, grasp the orbs of your own free will, and your service to me will be complete. Do you think I do not know of your pathetic plans? Without all of the orbs, you will not be able to pass the gate to her temple. But as soon as you have the orbs, you will be mine.
Well, let's just do as the man says. Pick up Core Sogoff's orb. And the very final orb, Thera herself.
What treachery is this? Core Sogoff has granted you resistance to my spell. He will pay for that, but his pain will be nothing compared to yours if you do not give me the orbs. Hurry, I grow impatient. Give them to me now, or live in eternal darkness.
Well, clearly things aren't going exactly the way Khull-Khuum wants. Let's keep it that way. We only have a split second to finish this. Let's not give him the orbs, but give him the silver ankh and shove it where the sun don't shine. Caught in his own stupid trap. You can pick up Khull-Khuum's orb, which does not really look like the sun at all, but it's just a souvenir. There's no point in it. As you can tell by the music, we are victorious. Khull-Khuum is defeated. We have all the orbs. Now we just need to finish this.
This is where we part. We cannot go with you. This is for you to do on your own.
You must pass through this gate on your own. Go now.
What will you do? How will you get home?
We will make do. Go now.
It will not be a problem. The lady here will guide my way.
And so Drake teleports into Farah's temple. Doesn't really look like much, but I guess nobody ever comes here. There's 9 pedestals in here, and not counting Khull-Khuum's, I have 9 orbs on me. The trick here is to place the orbs in their order of distance from the sun. Stonekeep is an alternate history of Earth, basically, so all the gods and orbs correspond with the same planets that we have. Helion's is Mercury, closest to the sun. Aquila is Venus. Thera is of course Earth, third rock from the sun. Azrael is Mars. Marif is Jupiter. Afri is Saturn. Safrini is Uranus. And Yovzagov and Korsagov are Neptune and Pluto, respectively. And the last 2 can be placed in either order, because their orbits intersect, I believe. And that completes it.
Well done, my hero. You have freed the gods from their prisons. You did well to defeat Khull-Khuum in battle. I return you to your flesh, and restore to you your life.
one of these days I'm gonna LP a game that actually has a proper ending. Oh well, this has been Stonekeep. And all kidding aside, it's still one of my favorite all-time games. I've really enjoyed getting to the bottom of the story, exploring all the different alternate paths you could have taken, trying to trigger all sorts of alternate dialogue. It's taken me an awfully long time to get here, but that's my own fault. I really should have streamlined my workflow early in the process. Oh well, that's a lesson for next LP, which I'm sure there will be again. Stick around though. I still have a bonus video to do for the last 3 levels, plus a little something extra just to make up for the ending being so short. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed me taking you through this little dungeon crawler, and I hope I've given you an idea of why it's one of my favorite games. I may have complained a bit, but that's just because I want to stay objective. Still love the Stonekeep atmosphere, and I'll always regret that they didn't go through with a sequel. Well, hope I'll see you in the final bonus videos. Thanks for watching. This has been David's Package. See you next time. I have to go.
Zoinks! It's old man Giggle. Ugh. If it wasn't for that meddling kid and his little dog, Wolfie, I would have gotten away with it.